Hello everyone. Welcome to Bhattachar's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I'm your friend Atray and today I'm here with another segment of Current Affairs 365 dated 15th of November 2021. This is your one-stop solution for any news and updates which will help you prepare for your civil services examination, and along with that it is also going to be beneficial for any other Assam state government services. So don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram for any further details related to job notifications. So the first news of today is about the National Interlinking of Rivers Authority. Central government is planning to create this national body of Interlinking of Rivers Authority, which is supposed to be an independent autonomous organization for planning, investigation, financing and implementation of all the river interlinking projects within our country. This body is going to function as an umbrella organization for all the river linking projects, and it is going to be headed by an officer of the secretary rank designation. This body is going to replace the existing National Water Development Agency, and it will coordinate with our neighboring countries and all the concerned states and departments. And along with that, it will have powers on issues related to environment, wildlife, and forest clearances. The NIRA, that is National Interlinking of Rivers Authority, will also have power to raise funds and act as a repository of the borrowed funds or money that will be received on deposit given on interest. The main idea was first mooted during the British Raj when Sir Arthur Cotton, who is a British general and irrigation engineer, he suggested linking of Ganga and Kaveri for navigational purposes. The interlinking of river program, it is mainly aimed at linking different surplus rivers of our country with the deficient ones so that the excess water from the surplus areas, it could be diverted to the areas where there is scarcity of water. These projects are important because India depends on monsoon which are erratic in nature, and also they are not regionally balanced. So interlinking of rivers will solve the problem of deficient of water, and this surplus amount of rain and river water, it can be diverted to the places where there is scarcity of water. Along with that, interlinking can also help in providing solution to the rain-fed irrigation problems of our agricultural system through the transfer of surplus water. It can also be helpful in mitigating the effect of drought and floods to a large extent. And along with that, other benefits of interlinking projects includes hydropower generation, round-the-year navigation, employment generation, etc. However, there are many associated challenges with this project. For example, the project threatens to obstruct the natural ecology of rivers, and the proposed dams can also threaten forests of Himalayas and impact functioning of the monsoon system. Along with that, it is assumed that if that the donor basin, it has got surplus water and it can be made available to the recipient basin. But the whole concept goes for a toss if this basic assumption goes haywire for any system due to climate change. And we should also not forget the economic costs, as it is estimated that river interlinking projects will have a huge fiscal burden on our government. So instead of interlinking of rivers, which should be pursued, but it should be done in a decentralized manner, and more emphasis should be laid on other sustainable ways like rainwater harvesting should be promoted in order to mitigate flood and droughts. Moving ahead to the next news, which is tagged under GS paper 2 and will be under the subtopic of education, government policies and interventions. So the National Achievement Survey of 2021, it was conducted, which assessed 38 lakh students from around 1.23 lakh schools in 733 districts of 36 states and union territories. The last survey was conducted in the year 2017, and it was scheduled to take place in 2020, but due to COVID situation, it was postponed until the year 2021. This survey is a nationwide survey to assess the learning outcomes and health of the education system of our country. It is the largest nationwide sample-based education survey conducted across our country. This entire survey was done by the Ministry of Education, and CBSE conducted the National Achievement Survey of 2021. Along with that, NCERT, National Council of Educational Research and Training, it designed an assessment framework and other tools which were required for this survey. This survey provides a system level reflection on the effectiveness of school education so far, and it collects various informations on relevant background variables like school environment, teaching processes, then student home and background factors, etc. This survey covers the whole spectrum of schools, including government school, both state and central government, then government aided schools, and the private schools across our country. The survey was conducted in 22 mediums of instruction and it was conducted in different subjects for different grades. The subject and grade wise breakup, it can be seen as follows. For grade 3 and 5, the subjects which were under scrutiny were language, EVS, and mathematics. Then for grade 8, it was language, science, mathematics, and social science. And for grade 10, it was language, science, mathematics, social science, and English. The main objective of this survey was to provide structured feedback on student learning levels at both district and state level. Along with that, these inputs are also used for policy planning and designing the pedagogical interventions to improve the quality and ensure equity in learning process. This survey will be very helpful in assessing the learning interruptions and new learnings during the pandemic period, which in turn is going to help in order to take any remedial measures. And the key findings of the survey will help in diagnosing a systematic understanding of the consequences that prolonged closures of school has had on the mindsets of the student. And also it will check the effect on their social, emotional, and cognitive development. This will further help at resolving the learning gaps of students and devising education policies and new teaching practices. Coming to education sector of our India, as per constitutional provisions, Part 4 of Indian Constitution, Article 45 and 39F of the DPSP, it has provision for state-funded as well as equitable and accessible education. Along with that, the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution in 76, it moved education from the state to the concurrent list. And Right to Education Act of 2009, it aims to provide primary education to all children aged 16 to 14 years and enforces education as a fundamental right. It also mandates 25% reservation for the disadvantaged sections of our society. The government initiatives which are related to education system includes the National Education Policy of 2020, then Samagra Shiksha 2.0, second phase of Samagra Shiksha, Nipun Bharat Mission, PM Poshan Scheme, performance grading index, etc. The next news is about the sixth edition of Indo-French Shakti 2021. It is a bilateral exercise between both the nation, and this year it is going to be conducted in November in Fréjus, France. From the Indian side, a platoon strength of Gorkha Rifles Infantry Battalion will be participating, and the main focus this year will be on counter-terrorism operations in backdrop of semi-urban terrain under the United Nations mandate. Along with that, this exercise aims towards any military exercise. It aims towards enhancing military cooperation and interoperability between the two participating armies. This biennial exercise between the armies was between the two armies of the concerned nations. It started in 2011 and it is conducted alternately in India and France. The last edition of Exercise Shakti took place in Rajasthan in the year 2019, and there the main focus was on counter-terrorism operations in semi-desert terrain areas. Coming to defense exercises between India and France, it includes Varuna, which is a naval exercise, Desert Night 21 and Garuda, both these are air exercises, and Shakti is an army exercise. The next news is about restoration of the Member of Parliament Local Area Development Scheme for the remaining part of financial year of 2021-22 up to 2025-26. This scheme was suspended for 2 financial years, that is 2021 and 21-22. It will be now in co-terminus with the period of 15th Finance Commission. This scheme is a central sector scheme which was first announced in December 1993. The main objective here is to enable the Member of Parliaments to recommend works on developmental nature with special emphasis on creation of durable community assets in areas like drinking water, primary education, public health, sanitization, roads, etc., particularly in their constituencies. And since 2016 June, the funds can also be used for implementation of other schemes like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Sugamya Bharat Abhiyan, then Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana, etc. The process under the scheme, it starts with the MP recommending works to the nodal district authority. Then the concerned nodal district is responsible for implementing eligible works that were recommended by the MPs and maintaining a detailed account of individual works executed along with the amount which was spent under this particular scheme. Each year, the MPs they receive rupees 5 crore in two installments, that is rupees 2.5 crore each, and the funds under the scheme are non-lapsable. The Lok Sabha MPs they have to recommend the district authorities projects to in their Lok Sabha constituencies, while the Rajya Sabha MPs they have to spend it in the state from which they have been elected to the house. However, the nominated members of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha they can recommend works anywhere in the country. The need for restoration of the scheme is that it is going to restart fulfilling the aspirations and developmental requirements of local community, and there will be creation of durable assets, which was the primary objective of this scheme at the very first place. Along with that, it will also help in reviving the local economy. However, there are many issues which are related with the concerned scheme. The CAC was of the opinion that it has flagged instances of financial mismanagement and artificial inflation of the amount spent. Along with that, this scheme is not governed by any statutory law and it is often subjected to the whims and fancies of the government of that particular period. So, this scheme, which was mainly launched for promoting participatory development, but now there is no indicator which is available to measure the level of participation. So there is lack of monitoring and regulation in this scheme. Along with that, there is conflict with the doctrine of separation of powers as the MPs are getting involved in executive functions.
And this was all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it will be helpful. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another segment of Current Affairs 365 only on Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. Till then, take good care of yourselves and keep learning. Bye-bye.
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy প্ৰস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা। বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy